next year in 2021. So, following the data is one of their keys. So the ICP and target market, if you've not taken those steps to identify, what your ICP and target market is, that is one of the first things you should do. But you need to understand that that's going to change, throughout the year based on different market signals. So you really want to make sure that as part of this marketing, part of what you're looking to do for leveraging your data is understand that can change based on market signals that are happening. You really want to diversify your go-to-market strategy. So there isn't. I don't think there's just necessarily one go-to-market. There's several, right? It can depend on the types of products that you have, or the specific segments that you're looking to target, or the different industries that you're going after. Everything can be different. So you really want to understand how you can diversify your go-to-market strategy. You're designing an infrastructure built for speed and versatility. Moving to a strategic end-to-end operating model around your revenue operations function. Investing heavily in community. Peer referrals are really the ways a lot of folks are looking to buy, especially in times of COVID. Looks like I got muted there. Sorry. One of the things you want to look at, on the community side is, I find organizations like SaaStr, organizations like Modern Sales Pros, Sales Hacker. There's a lot of different peer groups that are out there that, if you invest in, having a avenue into that, you find that you have a really good return on those investments. Prioritizing outbound targets based on their engageability. I think a lot of what we're finding at LeanData is you just can't rely on inbound. There has to be a lot of proactive outbound as well. So you got to make sure that that's an element of what you're doing. And then building a sales process around 90-day priorities. So looking at everything, segmenting everything as a within time base in a quarter rather than looking at the entire year. And then lastly, creating a sales enablement process to be able to change and make changes and react to changes in an instant. So these are the things that Topo has said. I don't know. Does anyone else? Is there anything else that folks are working on, or do they see something that's missing from these strategies that Topo has laid out?
John, we do have a question from Raj about point 6 here. How do you assess engageability? So I think that's something we could address and then see if any other questions pop up from that specific question.
Yeah. Like one of the things that we've done, I think engageability, and we'll talk about this in one of the later slides. But when we look at our marketing, our sea of marketing contacts. One of the things that I've done at LeanData is try to bring the idea of stages within a marketing person. So folks that go through your whole marketing funnel that end up becoming part of an opportunity, but they don't close, are probably the highest, have the highest engageability rate of any other contact in your database, right? So if you could find a way to engage on people that you spoke to that had, from a sales perspective, went dark, or they said they went to a competitor, or told you that now wasn't the right time. Those are people that you've already made an investment in from a marketing perspective, that have an understanding of who you are, and are probably the lowest hanging fruit when you want to look at doing, okay, hey, I want to now prioritize an outbound motion. Who do I go after first? It's usually those people that you've made it all the way through a sales process down to being part of an opportunity that just didn't close one. Those are generally the best people to go after when you're doing that outbound motion.
And one last one on this one, I think, before we can move on question 4, on point number 4, what are some of the KPIs that you set, and how often do you measure them?
Yeah, so as far as from an end-to-end operating model for revenue operations, since we kind of own that customer journey from marketing through sales through customer success, there's a lot of handoffs that happen in that model, right? So somebody gets handed off from marketing to a sales development team. It goes from a sales development team to a salesperson. It goes from a salesperson to maybe an implementations person once they're a close one deal, and then it gets handed off from implementations to a customer success, and then it even gets handed off from customer success to an account manager, right? So each of those handoffs, what we do on the revenue operations team is make sure that that handoff is as smooth as possible, and then also we also looked very closely at what the conversion rates are when those handoffs happen. So what does our conversion rate look like when a lead gets handed from marketing to sales development? What does it look like when it gets handed from sales development to sales, and so on through the whole funnel, all the way down to renewals? We also get very involved with upsells, and a lot of what happens on the customer success side is things like how well engaged are your customers, how much have they adopted your product. So we do a lot of measurement there to know what is the likelihood of someone to upsell, what is the likelihood of someone to renew. So each of those handoffs is really where we focus in on what are the metrics around the success of those handoffs, and how, as someone moves through that funnel. So I'll go to the next screen. So the first piece of this, we want to look at driving growth by focusing on data. So how I think again, like I don't think anybody has a perfect world when it comes to data. One of the jokes that I make is that the second that somebody is in your database, they're stale, right? Because people change jobs, people change locations, they change emails, they change phone numbers. Once something hits your database, it's likely stale. So how can you really do the things to make sure that the data that you have is the most accurate and most valid to act upon? So the first thing is don't let bad data bring you down. Like everybody has this problem. Nothing's perfect. But the thing that can happen if you do have bad data, is to understand that marketing and sales aren't aligned. You have missed opportunities. You have a weak pipeline. There's a lack of visibility throughout the funnel. I think there's a lot of there tends to be confusion if marketing is looking at one metric and sales is looking at another, or customer success is looking at something different than marketing. You want to make sure that you homogenize your metrics and your data across your whole organization. If you don't have good data, you're going to have really a hard time driving success for marketing campaigns and how you're segmenting those. You're not going to have really good ROI. And then the worst thing, for me, from revenue operations perspective, is a suboptimal customer experience, right? So, making sure that you have good data allows you to target the message to the right persona, to the right industry that they're in, and then really improve that experience for your prospect. So what we've done at LeanData, when I first started earlier this year, we took a step to really say, okay, we really want to have a data management strategy, and what does that look like? So we have a data committee. Data committee is made up of folks on our marketing operations team, our sales operations team, as well as our customer success team, as well as our sales team. Because I think one of the things that we find is, if you do have a challenge with data, the first people you hear it from is your salespeople. Like, this phone number is not good. This email bounced, right? So we include sales team members on that data committee as well. We've taken steps to go through and audit our data. We want to really understand, where do we have duplicates? Where do we, how do we make sure we avoid those duplicates? How do we make sure that assignments are correct? How do we make sure that, things like employee counts, that we have a single source of truth that we're relying on for when we assign something to a rep? That we have titles, things along those lines. You want to make sure and understand where those gaps lie so that you can rely on data providers to help enrich your data, to kind of plug that hole. We created a plan, right? So I think when I started, we determined that the data provider that we had wasn't sufficient. We needed to look at changing who our data provider is and how we ran enrichments through our database. That was one of the first things that our data committee did. And then we went through and also, again, we went through and cleaned and purged our data, where we did find that we had duplicate accounts. We got those merged. Where we had issues where employee numbers were wrong. We got those updated and then got the accounts reassigned to the right person. And then we've also taken steps to purge data. You can only have so many people in your marketing platform, right? I think a lot of the marketing platform vendors charge for data storage. So, one of the things that we did is looked at our data and said, okay, hey, we've had a Salesforce instance for, more than 5 years. There's a lot of data that we have that we know we have bounced emails. People aren't at that company anymore. Well, let's go through and just kind of streamline what we have and just make sure that the data that we do have is accurate. So, we've taken those steps. And then we've done as much as we can to automate the process. At the end of the day, the more that you have automation for making sure that your data is enriched, and that's a key early step of when someone enters your system. Everything else you have tied to what you're driving from that data runs a lot smoother. So that these are the steps that we did. This is kind of the plan that we put together at LeanData in 2020, and what we've executed on and what we're finding a lot of success in. So once you've kind of taken those steps, now how do you leverage that data for growth, right? This is really the key. The key is like once you have a data committee in place, once you've executed on your plan, you've purged your data, you're automating as much as you can. What are the next things? So the next things, and really we did this early on, is really to get alignment between your sales and marketing teams. So for us, it's our revenue operations team. As I said, it's our responsibility is not just sales operations, but it's marketing operations as well. So a lot of the data points that we have, it's very easy for us to go, hey, is this an apple, and does it stay an apple as you do reports through sales down to customer success? So a lot of the data points that we have, we make sure that we have alignment on through the entire, through sales, through customer success, starting at marketing, so that when we have reports and we have dashboards, everyone has an understanding of what is the metric that we're looking at. Sales is at the end of the day, sales is responsible for driving closure of pipeline. But marketing is really where that starts. And so the way that we goal our demand gen team is looking at how many net new logos have been for new business have been created in a given quarter. So where sales maybe looks at the total pipeline at the beginning of the quarter, demand gen is really focused on new business and what new is being brought into the pipeline, because that's just one piece of the pie, of the pipeline pie, but it's a very important one, because obviously if you don't have a new business target, you're really going to end up having challenges with your overall pipeline over time. It's not something that shows up right away, but several months down the line, if you don't have a focus on that new business piece of it, you will have challenges. And then once you're there, you have we have a blessed data to run the business. Everybody knows if there's a specific term like ARR or growth or upsell or whatever the term is, everybody knows what that means from marketing through sales down to customer success, and that's really key to getting that alignment. And then these are the things that we've done, at LeanData to help drive this. One of the things we did this year, this was a project that I worked on with our demand gen team. As I said earlier, I wanted to bring the concept of sales and opportunity stages to marketing. Because I really think that if you look at a marketing funnel, at the top of the funnel, you have everybody, right? Everybody in your system. And those are all your known leads. And then within those known leads, you're going to have folks that cross over thresholds to become what I call marketing qualified, where marketing goes, okay, this person falls into an ICP, they're part of our addressable market, they have the right persona. This is something sales should probably go after. Once sales has taken action against that lead, we say that is now a sales accepted lead. Sales has now added that person to a sales loft cadence or an outreach sequence. They made a phone call, they reached out to them on LinkedIn. There's some action that they've taken that has now made that have that person cross over from a marketing qualified lead to now a sales accepted lead. It stays a sales accepted lead until there's some disposition. So once sales has a conversation, I am the right person. Yeah, let's have a meeting. Or no, I'm not the right person. Let me refer you to somebody. Or no, I'm not interested. Once you have some disposition of that lead, we then call it a sales qualified lead. And then someone can say a sales qualified lead and not become an opportunity. And then you leave them as sales qualified. But obviously, if you have somebody who is sales qualified in a positive way, you have a positive disposition where there is a meeting, there is an opportunity, they're now part of an opportunity. And then, we track that as an opportunity stage through the rest of the funnel as you would on a sales funnel. So we've really brought this concept of like a sales funnel to marketing through this funnel here, what you see. So, we're finding a lot of success here because it helps marketing decide, like the question that was brought up earlier about how do I know what the engageability of a lead is? Well, people that have made it farther down your funnel without becoming a closed won customer, those are going to be your most engageable leads because you've already spent the money and the effort around marketing to get them to the point. You've done the sales effort, they just haven't converted, right? So really those people that are kind of at the bottom of the funnel here that have not become customers are going to be your most engageable leads, where you might want to spend more time and more effort as low-hanging fruit for any outbound effort that you're looking at doing. And then, as part of this as well, we do everything we can to automate as much of this as possible. So everything I described in that funnel is automated based on the actions that a person takes or that one of our reps take against that lead. We want to leave as little up to chance as possible and automate as much as we can. So obviously, by using lead to account matching, by leveraging our own platform, LeanData, we're able to take these leads that come into our system, immediately know, what rep should they be associated with, if they're already a customer being worked, if they're a brand new account, if they're an existing customer, if there's someone going through an upsell, there's someone going through a renewal, we have that lead to account matching that can bring drive that person directly to the right rep for follow-up. And by routing that data across, the entire revenue engine, we support all the go-to-market motions, whether it's an upsell or a renewal or a brand new sale, that automation brings that, we have that benefit of that automation across every one of those motions. And then we do all this in real time. There is no lag in making sure that a lead gets assigned right, or that an opportunity gets created and is assigned to the right person. So, in summary, invest in the health of your data to grow your business, right? I think at the end of the day, having a solid data strategy is really the foundation that drives the rest of your success. And that's always what I've tried to espouse to my team. And it's a lot of what drives a lot of what we do is that the accuracy and the validity of our data is really important. It becomes a way that you can grow your business by leveraging it in the right ways. And then automating that flow of data across the revenue engine with platforms like LeanData, you'll be able to see a lot of success in that speed to lead, and then increasing the accuracy of having the right folks assigned to the right people that come into your database. So I think that's all that I had. I'm happy. I think I have another. Oh no, I mean, the last piece of it. Obviously, this is the LeanData piece, right? This is my sales pitch. As I talked to that the lead to account matching piece of it. LeanData does continuously match all the leads with target accounts surfaced within engaged accounts. So when you have leads come into your system, they get routed to the right person. We have an engagement platform so you can identify, within your opportunities and within your accounts, who is engaging with sales, who's engaged with marketing, and how they're doing it. So there is a window within Salesforce that allows you to see exactly when and exactly what your prospects are engaging with. And then the routing piece of it, of course, of being able to automatically route those leads, contacts, and accounts to the right people on your sales team. Automatically create and route the opportunities based on whatever criteria that you have in Salesforce, and using routing to optimize the flow of demand throughout your system. So load balancing inbound leads, load balancing how things get assigned, round robining to your sales team. However you want to set up those flows, LeanData supports it.
Thank you so much, Don. That is
my last thing.
Thank you. We have a couple minutes here to take any questions. Would love to hear from you as well, if you want to drop them in chat, as well as if we run out of time, you can join the Brella networking where you can have these one-on-one conversations as well. I'll drop that link in the chat, but in the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them or shout them out. And
I got one real quick. Hey, thanks, Tammy. Thanks, Don. So do you have any stories of SaaS companies that have like an average price point of around $99 a month successfully running stuff like this?
Oh, on the low end. I don't have any, not direct experience myself. I think if you have that lower price point, I mean, do you have a lot of inbound? I'm presuming you have a lot of inbound, if that's the case.
Inbound and outbound, yeah.
Inbound and outbound. A lot of what LeanData does to support that. I think the best example that I can think of for one of our customers is Zoom. Zoom is one of our customers. Obviously when we hit the pandemic, they had an enormous influx of leads. And our platform supported everything that their inbound team was working on. We were able to route them to the right people. We were able to load balance those leads to the right individuals, even if they were a low price point. Obviously, the very entry level